Thanks for staying with us. A Nigerian politician, Senator Orji Kalu, has taken to his social media page to say Nigerian youth should stop abusing elders online after a heated encounter with a football fan. What are your thoughts on this? Join the conversation by calling us on 081-270-53687, or you can call us on 091-390-76948. So let me give you the background to this story. Senator Orji Kalu, tweeted after the football match, and he mentioned that for the first time in 84 years, Manchester United today suffered a heavy defeat to Brentford, and I hope they will get back on track. He was just talking about the fact that these things happen, huge win, great performance from the Bees. And the next thing, Senator, is this how your party will lose presidential election in 2023 from Ghana? Another person said, Mr. Kalu, please don't mock Manchester United because the same fate awaits you in 2023. Somebody else said, what has Manchester United defeat got to do with the situation of Nigeria? Your own defeat is awaiting you in 2023. The conversation started as a football discussion, but the situation changed. What concerned Nigerians with just prepare for your party's worst defeat. I was trying to understand, and I understand a lot of Nigerians are angry. I understand a lot of Nigerians feel like there is no, our political class has failed us. So from the language, it tends to come across like a bit rude. So the senator did a video live on Facebook addressing young people and how young people are being rude to their elders on social media. This is not the first time we have seen things like this happen. Nima, I want to start with you. You are a proponent of Africanism, African culture and tradition. I was looking for the insult in the tweet. I've not seen the insult yet. I saw more of political.
Okay, let her give us.
So let me throw it to you now. What do you think? How can we? Do you think that the senator was justified in his response? Let's start with that.
Okay, because he's an elder, of course, he's justified in his response. He's the one who's been on the receiving end of such hate. He's dealing with his work. And I would not want to hold brief because I think that a lot of young people, in their language and attitude, are rude. Because I have also received some of that. I'm even a young person myself, so really not bad, but can be very bad when you're at the age of Orji or Kalu and the kind of level of hate that comes. But this is what I would like to say. There's really been no clear platform for respectful opinion. So somebody might not agree with the policies that he did as a governor and his, the number of years as a senator, how he's represented his constituency. But if you were to communicate that with him respectfully, is there a platform for that? There's no such platform. And could he engage a young person whose opinion did not follow his own? Our old people in Africa rarely do appreciate a young person's opinion.
Yeah.
If you're dissenting from what they think, what they hold as opinion,
they won't like you.
I can say on this table that I've met a lot of old politicians, past or present politicians, and I can say it's only BRF that I can engage in that manner, and he will not object. He's the only one I've seen in a long time that I can actually disagree with, and I do it a lot of times. I expect a backlash, and I don't get it. So, and he even has a platform where you can reach him. Does Orji Kalu have that platform so that the moment he decided to go social and just tweet about football will not be where everybody will come? That does not excuse the abuse that happened. But we must learn when we hold public offices and want to remain in public office to allow opinions to come in, age-wise or not. And it shouldn't be psycho-fancy. They enjoy it when you're praising them. When somebody thinks, Honorable Sir, the roads in your constituency is still under construction for 20 years. Do you mind explaining why? You say, who is your father? Who born you? We should allow these things happen. On the Badagry Expressway, I'm saying it here, not because I know how many times. Remember, I was stuck in traffic on the Oshodi Apapa or Oshoki renovations that was happening once. And I had said to my children, I'll pick you up in school. I got into that traffic and I was there till 4. My children had closed long at 2:30. I picked up my phone. I called the Minister for Works, as if saying, I'm my papa. I ranted. I was frustrated, and he listened. And he said, Nima, this pain, you have to suffer it. He said, is there no alternative you should use? I said, well, I didn't check the map. I usually would check the map. He said, then maybe subsequently you check the map. But that road, if they do it, won't you enjoy it better? I enjoy it. I'm enjoying it now. Have I called him recently to say, I'm enjoying the road? No. I've not called back to say that. So we must allow platforms where children, you call them children. Yes, we are children, but you must respectfully engage. But that there's so much toxicity on social media out there. That's a fact.
I agree with you 100%. And I like the parts where you started with adults not giving that room for conversation with young people. Once you have a dissenting view, you are automatically considered as rude and you will not be given an opportunity to speak. There was a time in the makeup room, one of the newscasters was telling me that there's this person in House of Assembly, an elderly politician, that told me that he hates you. He hated you with all his being. That day, he was watching the show, and immediately he saw me. He was vexing. I don't like that girl. And I said, did he tell you what I did to him? Because I've never met him. That was the first time I was even hearing his name. I said, no, that there was a day we discussed something on parents choosing spouses for their children. And my view was of the fact that a child or an adult, full-blown human being should be able to make their own decisions, irrespective of what their parents say. And he did not like it, because apparently, according to the backstory, he had chosen, and he was insisting on choosing for his sons. So he hated me without meeting him, just because I had a different views. I think the lesson should go both ways. I understand that young people, and also it has to do with the way we are raising them. They no longer understand the ethics of communication. A young person who wants to pass a message across just opens their mouth and just says it anyhow, thinking, is my opinion. After all, I'm being authentic. That's not being authentic. We need to learn some simple manners. And there are people I have blocked on social media for coming on my private post to talk nonsense. I post something and you want to insult me for something I said on the show, and you come and attack my daughter on her birthday. There was a guy that I went to his DM and I cursed him. I was really upset. He had came on my page on my daughter's birthday and just said something. That was the time this girl got that Dubai that Dubai excursion that they went for. Yes, and he came there and he was saying this girl is going to be like that. And I followed him. I'm telling you, I followed him to his DM, and I finished with him with scriptures, because I was celebrating my daughter on my page. I'm telling you, some people need to learn. So I think apparently when he now read it, he now came back and he apologized. I didn't listen. I didn't say anything, because I just realized what had happened. He was used to speaking anyhow without listening to himself. And that's how a lot of young people talk. They talk, they act without listening, without putting themselves in that position. If I receive this, how will it come to me? So we have a lot on our hands, especially with young people around us, to train them on how to appropriately communicate is very important. Then for the elderly people, we are raising children that look at us and say, Mommy, why? No, I don't agree, and all that. Do we kick them out? No, we start and we explain logically. We are able to have a conversation with them, because we are understanding that everybody can have their perspectives. So on this particular case that you posted something and somebody now went to, that's all shades of rude, and we should talk about it.
So, Mariam, you know, there's some things that it surprises me when I read it. Like, is it indeed not this is the same country that we grew up? Why would you use this kind of language to talk to somebody that you know is far older than your parents? Like, how did we lose it? That because we have that anonymous any name on Twitter now, we just can just say anything and insult people. How does that? What's your reaction to that? I know you don't like positive. You like positive environments, but like you live in this space where you read things that shock you.
So this is what I have to say. In real life, when adults are talking, they find a group that they talk. It has always been our culture. In fact, when young people come into that place, they listen more, because they are learning how to listen and how to engage. And when a young person starts entering that circle, when they start talking, they have elders that caution them. Oh, don't say it that way. You can say it this way, but don't say it that way. But social media is free for all. Everyone is there. and everybody's allowed to speak anyhow. And so for me, I always say that when you have something important to say, if you carry yourself with some sort of respect, don't arrange yourself, don't lay yourself down on social media. You will get whatever it is, because that's where they are. But you have I like all the WhatsApp groups, the communities. People there are able to talk to themselves in a certain way. There are guidelines, you know, that's followed in a way that you communicate with each other. Having said that, talking to just young people, you're finding your voice, you're learning to express yourself. Many of you will make the mistake of being rude. If you're at home, your parents will call you out on it. You'll be punished for it, you know, but you're here where no one can immediately catch you or speak to you, and you're surrounded by people, you know, of the same mentality, of the same age, where you're also trying to find your voice. I love the fact that young people can be bold and can speak their minds and can ask questions. I just do not like the way that they're doing it. I do not like the kind of words that they use to express, you know, their criticism or disagreement. When you engage them a little bit more than, you know, first sentence or second sentence, or meet them, you know, privately, they'll try to explain to you what they were trying to say in the first place. I'm like, if you had these words in the first place, why didn't you use these words? I get a message, I have lost all manner of respect for you. How dare you make this particular, say this particular view? And I'll check it, I'll say a tiny boy. Or a tiny girl, you know, they're just learning
like,
to, yes, and then when you even check, you understand. I'm like, if I was sitting down with you, you would not say to me, you would not say that to me, you would say to me, I disagree with what you said, because this and this, but because, hello, I have a phone, I have data, I can say anything. So it's important to learn that it's okay, because I'm raising my children that way. It's okay to disagree, it's okay to have to criticize, but you have to have a proper way of, you know, of expressing that. It says a lot about you, the sort of words that you use, the way you present yourself. You think you're just saying something for today. 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, these words will haunt you. Yeah. So we need to be careful how we address anybody. Politicians, yes, they have what it is that they do. They have committed so many things, so many atrocities. Whether I would like it or not, this is Nigeria, and a lot of us are angry. But there's also a proper way to do it, so that when in 5 years or 10 years, your message is taken out of the context of that time, you'll be able to stand with your head high and defend what it is that you say. Nobody goes far by being rude. Nobody gets blessings or gets praise by being rude just for rudeness sake. There are better ways to express yourselves. There are proper and respectful ways to express yourself, and you still be respected for being bold enough and confident enough to criticize government and to call government to order.
Honestly, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk more about how to effectively communicate and the part of our leaders listening to us more. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still discussing Senator Orji Kalu's comments that he made on social media regarding football, that Nigerian youths responded with insults and calling that his party is going to suffer huge defeat in 2023. And his response to that, in having a live video explaining his track record, how he's not a career politician. He did not come into politics to make money. He had become very wealthy as a very young person, and he explained, this is football. Let's talk about football. I came here to discuss football. People started talking about politics. That's why we don't come here to talk to you. He said we don't engage, because when you say something...
Sorry, is it about politics that was a problem, or they were just being rude? There's a difference.
Okay, so it's not to separate it. Nigerians, we know Nigerians are angry. How do we begin to clear the veil of anger to effectively communicate? We had the same issue during when the Minister Aregbesola was in in the airport lounge in the US, and somebody took a camera and was trying to record him and was saying, you are, and there was no communication. It was just I want to show you. I want to show your face.
That was clearly an harassment. I felt pained on behalf of Aregbe. He was clearly being publicly harassed and embarrassed. That person,
so
even in that America of
being harassed.
Aregbe, just as he had the right to his camera, so Aregbe had the right to his privacy and to his lunch. It's just because he didn't test it in court. I'm sure he would have gotten a great compensation enough to deter such in the future. Even if you're in that America. I'm in America like one Bushman.
Let's take a call from Mohammed. Let's take a call from Mohammed. Mohammed, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Very well, thank you.
Okay, so I was born in Nigeria, or I was born of Nigeria that instilled values and a lot of discipline and patience that allowed me not to disrespect my elders. Even when they are doing or conducting themselves in manners that sometimes do not deserve that respect, but I still have a way to speak to them or to channel my, should I say, my anger. I will speak to them in a manner that they will understand. Yeah. But unfortunately, the youth we have today do not have that same luxury that I had when I was growing up. They don't have those same, a lot of them don't have those same values, that discipline, that patience. They don't have that. And I think the Honorable Senator could have used this as a golden opportunity for himself to also speak to these youths. Because politics is about dialogue, about conversation, really. You are a politician. You should be able to tell them, look, I mean, I understand you're unhappy, I understand you're angry. What is it? Let us have a conversation, let us talk. You know, and maybe you can be able to even convince these youths that are angry with you to even support you in some of the things that you're doing. Because, you know, these people need direction. They need leadership. And unfortunately, a lot of our leaders have failed. That is part of the problem we have today. So our youth today look at our leaders as the enemy, and so they are disrespectful. Unfortunately, I don't support that, but that is the reality, you know.
Thank you, Mohammed.
I wanted to continue on what I was saying, that, you know, sorry. You
were talking about Aregbesola and the harassment that he was harassed, and this happens a lot online now.
The distinguished had been silent. There was one of those tweets that, you know, you could sense the pains of the youth. I'm not supporting rudeness. Certainly not. I've been a victim of it. But you are as a leader, whether you like it or not, you hold an office, whether within your constituency or, you know, in the federal executive, you are an influencer. You are the one who should be tweeting on everything happening. You don't have to do it personally. Put up a team, you can afford it. In the East, there's been continuous killings happening in Imo, everywhere. And one of such tweets addressed him that said, you have been silent on all that has been happening up in the East. You have deliberately been quiet, but now you want to use football to distract us. So you cannot just come and show that you have also, they are distinguished representing them, but you are relaxing and
watching
football. Meddling football issue.
Enjoy.
There must be balance.
Yeah, beefing. Let's take James' call, then we'll come to VC. James, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning. Now, how are you doing?
Very well.
Thank you.
I appreciate you for based on what people are talking about, most especially in respect to the way you talk to our elders. In fact, it's a shame to us who are youth, and we have to apologize to Mr. Aregbesola and the genuine man, the government by right. But the only people to the Yoruba, they respect their elders. Apart from that, he's an elderly man. No matter whatever he says, there are channels of communication you need to do elders. But the way they attacked him in the US was very, very bad and unhelpful. My advice to you, the youth, please, no matter whatever it is, we should be talking to our elders maturity. There are channels of talking to them. Don't just see them and start harassing them on the way. They have kids like us. If somebody harass my father that way, I'll not be happy with that person, no matter who that person is. So if I want to talk to somebody's father, I have a way of talking to the son, or an elder, or to my father.
Thank you, James. Which is one about respecting your father, but these are leaders, are politicians, and they are responsible for the good and the bad in the society. And so this idea of, oh, we're very respectful people, we shouldn't talk to somebody's father like that. Do you know who I am? I'm like your father, you cannot question me. How do we start letting our leaders know that we have a right to question them?
Yes.
And how do we start opening that channel of, I don't agree with you, the laws you are making don't reflect what we need per time.
Okay, so Talk Media platforms for that. This one is a case of, I posted on my page and then you come in with all of the insults. There are two different issues and we need to separate it. What we can now start pushing is that our leaders give us a platform, like Nima said, where we can engage with them in terms of politics and leadership. But let me tell you, every leader or any leader who is watching and listening to me right now, Nigerians are not happy. The fact that you are a leader in this present administration or dispensation or whatever you want to call it, and things are not working well for Nigerians, they will not want you. They naturally would hate you. Nigerians don't want you to breathe right now. We want to seize the air. We don't want you to smile. We don't want you to laugh. We don't want you to show a similitude of happiness. So if you are doing any of those things that is not in line with working to save us from the quagmire we have found ourselves, please don't post it on social media. Because it will be painful to somebody who is sitting down at home, not being able to access university education, to see one of the leaders posting about football. It seems, do you understand where Nigerians are coming from?
Cannot buy fuel.
Fantastic. So they are in so much pain that we would advise you, whatever you are enjoying in your house, whether you are watching BBNO, enjoy it quietly. Do not come and show us, because Nigerians are not ready to have that conversation. That's one. Secondly, with that said, we need to understand that it's very important that we know where the problem is. So we say Nigerians are angry, Nigerians are angry. Anger is a negative emotion, which does not solve any problem. We have been angry for a while. But because we are letting our emotions rule us, we are not able to think logically to get ourselves out of this question. So you post something, I get angry, I react. You get angry, you do a video. We have not solved anything. Nobody has been pacified.
You have not engaged
so why don't we take that anger aside and face the issues at hand? If we are going to be dealing with the issues of getting our youth to understand how to communicate effectively, that's one side. If we are going to be dealing with the issues of getting the leadership to focus on the job they're supposed to be doing for us, that's on another side. Those are issues that we need to have proper conversations and start looking at ways to help ourselves. Being angry on social media will not solve anything. Whether you curse him from now till tomorrow that 2023 he's going to fail the elections will not even change anything. Why don't we channel that energy into something more productive? We can start clamoring. We will need to speak to you. Things are happening in your constituency that are not pleasing to us. We need to talk to you. Where can we talk to you? Where can we access you? We need to be fighting that so that we do things the right way. Things should be done for a more productive result.
Let's take a phone call from Ibuka. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Ibuka.
Good morning. Welcome to the show.
Interesting to speak this morning, but I have to start from the note that in Africa, adults or elders.
We lost. Mariam, you have been taking plenty notes. I cannot wait for you to share.
I haven't been taking any notes. Anyways, I just don't want to lose my thoughts. I was just going to say that I understand we're all angry with our leaders, but I want to make sure that our leaders of tomorrow are not anyhow leaders of tomorrow. They don't become anyhow leaders. First of all, right, there's this attitude that these are current leaders of tomorrow being rude and everything. I have seen the leaders of today doing the same. There have been videos of some of our former senators who come online, or governors, and they come online and they sing all sorts of mocking songs to each other, you know, instead of following the proper channel to address issues. We do it, and if we can do that as leaders today, what do we expect our leaders of tomorrow to do? But for me, I want it to be different. I would like to see a difference. I would like for our leaders today. And the truth is, if you don't start today acting well, when you get there, you'll be one of those leaders that will see, instead of addressing issues and instead of following the proper channel to address your contemporaries, you're going to come on social media, you'll be singing songs and dancing to music, shading each other instead of addressing issues. And I do not want that for our young people who are going to be leaders tomorrow. Another thing is when you hail someone for being rude today, to whoever it is that they are being rude to, yes, you will get all the accolades and the hailing, and oh, yes, and the person told him, you will enjoy that. But the truth is, you will become that person that you're calling out. And that is not what you want. You don't want to now become that sort of person that when you go there, you will be unable to also accept corrections. Because now it's okay to be rude, it's okay to say anything. When you get there too, you always feel that it's okay to say anything and anyhow to people who would talk to you or speak to you or criticize you. So it's best to learn today where you are, how to address elders, how to address teachers, how to address your parents. When your parents do wrong, there's a way that you address them. I understand. It's different from the way you address politicians. I'm not saying that, you know, with your parents, you don't call them out, oh, you didn't do this, you didn't pay fees, you didn't do this. Do you understand? You don't call them out that way. You will sit down with them and explain to them. If you think that your parents are going wrong, there's a way we address them. And that's what, but there's also a proper way to address politicians. And that's why I agree with Nima's point about the right platform where young people can come and channel this anger in a way that it will be productive for all of us. Nobody wants to be on social media just using their voice and calling out people. We want, it's because, I'm believing, it's because our youth really want a change. And it's because they are tired of seeing the injustice, where it seems like we have a political class or a political group that seem to be enjoying everything positive about the country, and everyone else is suffering, you know, to make life better for the politicians. So we're angry. I can understand that anger. But I want it to make us better citizens. I don't want this problem we're in to also further degenerate and take away our own self-dignity and take away our own self, you know, our humanity, and then reduce us to nothing. And then when we become leaders, we'll become just like the people that we're criticizing today.
So, you know, we've all made extremely valid points. We've spoken about the importance of effective communication. Nima raised the point of our politicians creating a positive platform for engagement. In that platform, be ready for any feedback you get. Even if it is uncomfortable, take it. Don't become someone that will feel like, am I your mate? This is how they are feeling per time. It is pinching. So let them express. If people don't have opportunity to express and a platform to express, they will vent. And it's likely going to be negative. And I love when BC also mentioned anger. Anger doesn't solve any problem. Insult doesn't solve any problem. Insult will not bring the price of Naira and dollar change. It will not make petrol more available or diesel more cheap. So we cannot just be angry. If you are going to engage Senator Orji Kalu, you can start calling out his constituency project that did not get done. You can start specifying the laws he supported that you don't agree with, but let's become more constructive. And finally, yes, and finally, I love what Mariam said, that we don't want to become the same people that we are complaining about. You know, you don't want that bitterness to spread from you and our leaders of tomorrow that is currently hating on social media. You are going to do the same thing that you are detesting right now if you continue on that path. Please, Senator Orji Kalu, people are angry, and I don't think that it is just an Instagram live session. I think you should open up a platform that would engage your constituents. Thank you, ladies. We're going to go on a break. When we come back, there's another thing that trended over the weekend that I really want us to talk about. So we'll move on after this short break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.